Hey folks, Vince the Evil DM here. Another episode of Railguns and Dragons. That's going to be what? 5 or 6 in a row, or something like that. Every day this week, let's call it that. Another episode coming right your way. Thank you for all the comments, the feedback. I've got a lot of good feedback from the Palladium forums as well. So people have sent me messages there privately. Some people have said some things in public, on Reddit, Facebook, things like that. I appreciate all those lovely comments. It does help encourage me to do more videos. Just remember to hit the like button for me. That's really all I ask. And if you can, subscribe if you're not. Share the videos. That's really it. Anyway, let's get on to things here and go right into, as the title says, we're talking about special training. Yay! Special training! All right, special training, I have to say right off the bat, is broken into 5 different subcategories or subclasses or areas of training. Now, some of it's kind of straightforward and other parts of it is editing. That's all I have to say, editing. And I'm saying that now because when I go through it, I'm going to point it out, there's a little bit of an editing problem. So, understandable. This is, back in the 80s when they were putting out a lot of things and maybe they were a little inexperienced as a new company. Happens. I don't care. It just, sometimes you just need to peek into the newer books just to see. So I may have peeked just to see the difference and see if there's a clarification on a rule or something. But anyway, let's start out with the first thing, the Ancient Master, which I also call AKA Kung Fu the Legend, because I don't know, it just reminds me of that. He basically is the master of martial arts. He has trained his entire life in a Tibetan monastery. From the young age, he honed his body and skills. Now he's an old man. But that's just what you see. What you get is he eats lightning and craps thunder. Little Rocky reference for you there. His goal is to bring peace and harmony to the world. He's a champion of light, which they say that here, but later on they say you can pick any alignment you want. So if he's a champion of light, he shouldn't be evil. So then we can drop that part, and his goal is to bring peace and harmony to the world, but maybe he's doing it from an evil perspective, as in, you know how evil people think they're doing good when they're not really doing good? Yeah, those type of people. So to determine his attributes, we do it like normal, except the following things get modified after you're doing it, even after physical skills are picked. His PS and his PP get raised and pushed up to 18 if they're below 18. Chances are they probably won't be. If you're doing 3d6 and your GM is allowing you to place them wherever you want, more than likely you're going to be placing these in physical stat areas because why wouldn't you, right? Because you're playing this class. If your PE is below 20, now it becomes 20. Roll 1d6, add it to your MA. I personally, with this class, would think, instead of if it is not, you get this, just add 1d4 or 1d6. I think that's a little bit more reasonable. It gives you a little bit more an advantage, but hey, I didn't write the book. Most of your education and your skills now are, and this is where it gets kind of confusing in a sense, but you have to peek at the 2nd edition book to get a little better idea of this. But you're mostly going to be given or picking combat-oriented things. And you get basic mathematics right off the bat at 98, read and write in the character's native language and another language at 98%. And then from there, you get ancient weapon proficiencies, which says you get these bonuses listed. I'm sorry, I skipped over the martial arts. I apologize. I went too far. You get hand-to-hand martial arts first before the weapon proficiencies, and you get 8 attacks per round. That's a hell of a lot of attacks for a first-level character, but your martial arts is at a 15th level of experience. Because don't forget, you've been doing this for your entire life. It's not like you've been doing it for a couple years or so. Your entire life is dedicated to honing your body and your skills, so you're a 15th level martial artist, but a first level character. Now, you get these bonuses listed under martial arts, but it really doesn't say what happens when you increase in level. So I'm taking this, and you can take it however you want because you're the GM, that you are a 15th level martial artist with a level 1 character. So until you get 15 or higher, your skills for martial arts really don't improve. You could take it that way, or you could take it that you get these bonuses, and then as you go up in level as a character, look at martial arts and see what it is, and you can add that to it, but that might be a little bit over the top. Again, it's your game, your decision. You get some combat techniques as well to add to your list of abilities, and then you get your ancient weapon proficiencies, which are considered level 15 as well. Again, you could take those how you want. And then you could select 4 physical skills equal to 10th level proficiency. You also have a boxing stuck in there, if you notice, right above the 4 physical skills. I want to make sure you can see that. Now, for special abilities, you get Feign Death, the Cleansing Spirit, and Positive Energy. Feign Death, we all know what that is, basically faking your death, and without people can be like, oh, he's dead, yeah. Cleansing the Spirit, now, that's pretty interesting because you take and dedicate 24 hours of time to meditate and go into this trance and cleanse your body of any poison, any drug, any chemical in the system, restore 20 SDC or hit point damage, one or the other, can't do both. And cuts and bullet wounds, infections, everything will be healed up, just like magic. Mind over matter. If you roll above the percentage there of 89, of 90 to 100, it means you basically didn't do anything and you wasted your time and you have to start all over again. Now, positive energy is kind of cool. When you start combat, you can pretty much, I guess, click this on with your will, your thought. You lose half of your attacks. Oh no, you go from 8 to 4. Oh no, right? And you have these certain abilities now. Energy attacks, including fire, electric, lasers, and even particle beams, do only half damage to you. Gases, poison, drugs, chemicals do half damage and are half as effective on you as well. You get +5 to save versus magic. Magic weapons also do half damage. And +3 to save versus ionics. Damn. Pretty badass, right? And then now next you move on to your age. There are 2 different categories here, and you roll to see how old you actually are. Anywhere from 40 to 90. And then how you appear to everybody else. Because, you always look at people and you're like, wow, he only looks like he's, 40. And he's like an 80-year-old man. I guess it really depends on how well your body was beaten up or not beaten up or how well you took care of yourself. Because who knows? Maybe you'll be a 40-year-old man, you look like you're in your 50s. Maybe you'll be a 90-year-old man and look like you're in your 20s. Anything's really possible. All right, then we pick our equipment because we don't actually pick our equipment. We get given our equipment, and we have an arsenal of weapons here. 10 bladed weapons, including knives and swords. 6 blunt weapons. 6 throwing weapons. And 6 other type of weapons. Of course, you can't be carrying them everywhere because you do not have a bag of holding with you. It would be a little silly to carry everything with you, but it's kind of like those scenes from the movie when you see the guy go, push the panel on the door and he goes in his room and there's all these weapons laid across the wall or on these little pedestals or something. That'd be what you'd have. Each mission has a certain weapon in mind that you need, and you know what to use when it's time for that weapon. So remember, guys, you can't carry every dang weapon on you. Stop it, you. Anyway, your lifestyle is pretty much at a minimum because you are a monk, so to speak. You will have no car, and you probably have a modest, as they say, furnished small apartment. So I'm thinking probably a studio type apartment, enough that you can rest your head, cook your meals, maybe have a little exercise area. Or a little entertainment area. I would probably think you'd be more into honing your body, practicing your skills, than sitting down watching TV eating potato chips. I don't know. You're the monk. You tell me. You want to eat potato chips? Right on. I love potato chips. Your money, 2d6 times 100. And here's where it says alignment can be chosen, but heroes would generally be a good alignment. They pretty much say that for every one of them, almost. And that's what I don't get. If they're a champion of light and pretty much justice, why would they be evil? You decide. You're the GM. Your SDC, you have a base of 50 plus 2d4 times 10. That's your base. Not on top of any of the physical stuff that you get to pick when you're doing everything else. So you have so much stuff to pick from, and you get from boxing and 4 physical skills equal to 10th level, so you get so much stuff there. And that is where that class ends, right there. Now, the hunter is a little bit different. He's a professional game hunter. He's a vigilante on the streets. His attributes are the same. You roll them up the same as usual. But you're modifying your PE by 1d4 and your speed by 1d6. Now, when it comes to education and skills for this character, he knows basic mathematics at 98% and reads and writes his native language, and he has the following. And here's where I meant editing comes into play. It gives you a bunch of stuff, and then it goes back down to say you automatically get this stuff, repeats some of the stuff above, but with different percentages. Now, I'm not sure if this was a mistake, and they should have cut all this out and chopped it down to automatically gets with the paragraph right above it. I don't know. So it's up to you as the GM how you want to handle this. Do you want to give them 2 skill programs, excluding espionage and military, at skill bonuses of 15% bonus? Select any 2 ancient weapon proficiencies, 3 modern, or come down a little bit further and you automatically get the wilderness 30, land navigation 30 bonus, tracking 35 bonus, weapon proficiency rifle at +1 to strike. Select one of the hand-to-hand martial arts of expert or martial arts. Why did I say of martial arts? Assassin, generally reserved for evil, of course. 2 ancient weapon proficiencies, 3 modern weapon proficiencies, your choice. And this is where I meant the editing part. Now it says select any 1 skill programming, excluding espionage and military, at plus 10% skill bonus. So is it at 15 or is it at 10? It's probably just some type of editing. I don't know why they broke it up like this, but Select 8 secondary skills and then select 7 from the following hunter-related skills. And it gives you a whole bunch of skills here with bonuses, and you get to pick 7 of them. Now, for your special abilities or your special skills, you have Disguise Scent, Recognize and Identify Parents, Plants, not parents, though that would be interesting, Trap and Snare Animals, and Modify Weapon Cartridges. So, and then there's step 3, which I think is pure roleplay, in my opinion. But it's kind of a cool mechanic that they added to it to see how long you've been doing this after you determine your age and everything. So you could be doing this starting as a child. Who knows? Maybe you have 16 years as a hunter. You're 16 years in your field of trade, so you can talk about your character and brag about it. Now, equipment. You have a budget. Yay, budgets, we're back. Roll your percentile dice and get a budget, but there are some restrictions to that budget. You must only spend, so you're basically spending 50% of it are spent on weapons, ammunition, and accessories. 20% has to be spent on camping and hunting and wilderness equipment, and then the rest can be spent, the other 20 of 70% can be spent on whatever you really want, with 30% that must be reserved for later. So you as the GM can decide here how you really want to handle that. Do you just want to be like, yeah, you got to spend 70% on hunter-related stuff and weapons and ammunition. Just leave 30% of it off to the side instead of breaking it down 30, 20, and then another 20, because it's going to get a little confusing and having to have all these categories of money, and it turns into math the RPG here, or accounting the RPG with spreadsheets and things like that. You don't want that, right? No, who does? Okay, so he would have a nicely furnished apartment, reasonable personal possessions. You're always likely to own a Jeep, obviously, because you're a hunter. You're going to be hunting a lot, going off-road, so you're probably going to have some type of Jeep or small truck, maybe a pickup truck, 4-wheel drive. It's only about 1 to 6 years old. Why not? Hand-to-hand, you get your normal 2 attacks like most characters, but you can modify that with hand-to-hand combat skills. Your alignment generally should be good, though I could easily see this class being evil. and you get 50 SDC as your base, plus anything gained through physical training. All right, so now we have the Secret Operative. Let's get down to him. Secret Operative, aka, I don't know, James Bond, maybe even a Jason Bourne-like character. I don't know, maybe what was the I can't think of it, the character now, but I'll think of it halfway through probably and scream it out like a dope. So the attributes, you're gonna roll your attributes as normal, and you're gonna modify the following: physical strength, PP, PE, and MA. All of them except PP will be raised by 1d6. The PP will be raised by 1d4. Awesome. It doesn't really matter if you have low stats with this character because you're going to be obviously moving them up. Education. Scroll down here a little bit for you. Okay. So you fall into a couple different categories with emphasis on spy here. The following skill selections reflect the rather narrow training. The number of parentheses is the skill bonus. So you automatically get math, pilot automobile at 98%, and you get to select martial arts. I said it again. Hand-to-hand expert or martial arts. And evil alignments obviously can take assassin. You get to select 9 espionage and military category skills combined, getting a plus 25% to your skill bonuses on them when you pick them. Pick 4 physical skills, 20% when applicable, and 2 advanced piloting skills with a bonus of 20%, 2 communication skills with a bonus of 25, select 2 ancient weapon proficiencies, select 3 modern weapon proficiencies, plus you get weapon proficiency energy pistol and energy rifles. And you round it all out with 8 secondary skills with no bonuses, pretty much. Now, your equipment, the equipment that you get with this class is friggin' awesome. You get a souped-up car with all this armor, pretty much. Remember the old arcade game Spy Hunter? That car, the dun 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 dun, and you would go off the road. You shoot bullets and gas and have oil slicks come out the back. That's this car, aka James Bond's car, pretty much. You get that. You get special weapons, energy weapons, 12 hand grenades, modern weapons of your choice, special gizmos like jetpacks, flying harnesses. You can even select 2 bionic implants if you want. It's player's option. Limited to hands, optics, sensors, and audio implants, things like that. You can also substitute ninjas and super spies here as well for implants. Pretty cool. I would probably take that up. Why not? It's not that big of a deal, and it gives you some added little bonuses, and plus it's another customization for your character, right? All right, your budget is 2d4 times $1,000 to buy additional equipment. Wow, it's a lot, isn't it? This money must be spent on weapons and additional spy-like items, like sensors, listening devices, and optical enhancements. Pretty cool. Then we jump into our background data. Who sponsored us? What organization, is our sponsor? And how does that organization, what is the organization status? How are we with them? What type of agent are we with them? Are we, good with them? We're testing things out, or are we a rogue agent on our own? Again, you could probably pick that. That's, again, up to your GM, how you want to handle that. Once we do all that, hand to hand, you get your standard 2 attacks per melee, and it's enhanced by other physical skills as normal. You are provided your armor by your organization, more than likely, and your weapons, but if you're on good terms, they will replace things and repair things for you instead of you having to do it on your own. It does have a note here: Game Master should be should be stingy with heavy weapons, energy weapons, and rare and expensive items. Your organization will not supply the whole group of characters, only your character. Nice try. Alignment usually of good, but you can be whatever alignment you really want. SDC 30 as a base plus 1d6 times 10. Whatever else you get plus through physical skills. What do you think of that class? I think that's pretty badass myself. I mean, with all the little toys you get and everything. So the stage man is the next one. Stage man. The stage magician is the next one. And the reason why I said stage man, because I was looking at my notes here and I had jotted down that this class reminds me of the Toy Man from DC, the villain Toy Man. I don't know why. It just kind of jumped out at me that way. Whatever. But anyway, the attributes for this class, you're going to modify your MA by 1d6, your PP by 1d6, and your physical beauty by 1d4. Excuse me. Your education and skills, the magician character has some formal schooling, but basically he was one of those people that had his head in the clouds, and he was off in 5 different directions trying to learn things and never actually honed anything, which most genius like people tend to do. They just either focus on one thing or they're all over the place and they learn a lot of things. So select one skill program, excluding espionage and military, and get those bonuses at 10%. Select 10 secondary skills, and then select 8 skills from the following. And you get your bonuses for those. Now, special skills, you get sleight of hand. And there are some restrictions for sleight of hand and how you can use it depending on the situation. And the modifiers are right here, which the GM will have available for you depending on the situation, so you know how many melees it takes or how long it takes seconds-wise to get out of a certain situation. You're a contortionist, so you get to add 5% to your escape artist skill, and you also get +2 to roll with punch or fall at impact. You also get juggling, which allows you to have 5 attacks per melee with a thrown weapon. It's like dart, knives, throwing axe, javelin, small spear, things like that. You get a bonus of +1 to strike on any thrown missile weapon, a +1 to parry. These are both in addition to any hand-to-hand weapon skill bonuses you get. Either one, either or. You could juggle up to 6 items, +1 additional per level of experience. Juggling's at a base of 50 plus 5% per level of experience. Now, for your gimmicks and your equipment, you get another budget chart. Roll on the budget chart, and you get to choose your items. 50% of it must be spent on tools and items that can be used for tricks and feats of magic. A couple of lockpick sets and tools and optics are a must, so you must pick those. Another 20% be suitable for crime fighting. As much as 30% of the money can be saved for later purchases. Another one like that. For special gimmicks, now, you have some tailor-made clothing with secret pockets in it and seams for concealment. You have a belt buckle compartment. You have belt with secret lining on it. Flash powder, itching powder, goblin dust, mini smoke bombs, mini stink bombs. This is why I thought it was like the Toy Man or maybe even the Riddler kind of thing going on here. Maybe even Mad Hatter. It's a mix between a bunch of villains that came. But Toy Man was the one that really popped out in my mind. I don't know why. I just saw him doing these things. Hand-to-hand combat obviously is not automatic. You must pick something to have your hand-to-hand. You automatically get two attacks per melee, but modified by hand-to-hand, of course. Your alignment should be chosen of good, but it can be any alignment you want. You get a base of 40 SDC, modified by any physical training you get. And finally, we are at the last one. Now, yes, the Super Sleuth. This is the last one. I call this Dick Tracy, Sherlock Holmes, or old school Batman. Your attributes, you're adding 1d6 to ME, 1d4 to MA, and increasing your IQ to 14 if below that. Chances are you probably will have a higher IQ than 14 regardless. But if you have it below 14, move it to 14. Education. Select any 2 skill programs, no military or espionage ones. You get the following: computer operations, math basic and advanced at 98%, computer programming in 2 additional languages, as well as pilot automobile or motorcycle at 96%. You get to select 8 secondary skills, and then 7 skills from the list here. Chemistry, chemistry, and crime scene, forensic, so on and so forth, with the bonuses listed here. You also get computer hacking at 98%. I'm just calling it hacking. I don't call it computer hacking or hacker. It's just hacking. That's all what I call it. And there are various penalties here and time restrictions that all come into play the GM has to go through. You also get see-through disguise and forgery, which 42 plus 4 for each additional level for disguise. Recognize forgery of 52 at plus 4 each additional level. That includes recognizing imitation gold, diamond, jewelry, things like that. You can recognize forgery. Equipment, another budget chart. They love the budget charts, don't they? 40% must be spent on investigative type equipment and listening devices, cameras, optics, and sensors. 20% spent on weapons related equipment, and at least 20% spent on relative items for detective work. As much as 20% of the money can be saved for later purchases. So it doesn't say it has to be, just as much as. One thing to note here, it does go into saying that you have already spent 2d4 times $10,000 equipping a crime lab. So you already have a base, so to speak, a crime lab, so to speak, that's yours, wherever it may be. This will include several microscopes, light boards, magnifying glasses, jewelry, tools and lenses, chemical lab, analytics station, dark room, refrigerator unit, tape recorder, yes, a tape recorder, and a IBM computer, which you could probably upgrade that from, anything other than an IBM computer, because I don't even think IBM makes computers that are just called IBM anymore. This was the 80s, so IBM was the actual computer. You get a color monitor and a Xerox machine. You have a reasonable automobile, not a pseudomobile like it says there, because that's an S. That's 2d4 years old, great for surveillance, common and inconspicuous. 2 attacks per melee, and you could choose any alignment. You start with a base of 40 SDC, and it can be increased through physical training. And that basically is all the classes in Heroes Unlimited. As we're done with this book, we'll be moving on. So I just want to say have a great weekend and happy 4th of July to those that celebrated in the U.S. Those you oversee, celebrate with us. Just go, yay! Anyway, we're going to say keep original, keep it old school, and good night, everybody.